is season 2 of the AR Wrestling Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the second season of the AR Wrestling Podcast, like I just said. And we are still your co-hosts, Alex and Ryan, as always. You know what I'm saying? So, as usual, we're going to sit back, relax, and enjoy. But we are doing episodes a little bit differently now. We're going to give you guys 2 episodes a week. One after Raw and one after SmackDown, so you guys we'll get more episodes out of that. So, just be ready to enjoy some more content.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna hit you guys with what happened on Raw this week. But before that, Ryan, what's going on, man?
Hey, not too much. I've just been vibing, just been thriving. Work's work, but we were going through it. You know how it is.
Oh God, I do want to start with one thing. I think for what happened after Raw, or on the Raw after WrestleMania. Just want to point that out. A lot happened. What happened? I'm trying to remember everything that happened. There was. Give me one sec. Looking it up right now. Here we go. Got it. We see Randy Orton start going after John Cena. We see Liv and Raquel regain their titles, and Becky Lynch turning heel. Which, Ryan, how do we feel about this?
I'm not happy about that in particular. I'll talk about more maybe when we get to like the actual Becky Lynch promo that happens, I think, this week. I was not happy about Becky Lynch going heel. I much would have preferred Lyra going heel personally, but that's me. That's just me.
No, that's fair too. That's honestly fair. So I also want to point out Rusev returned and basically destroyed Alpha Academy. Stephanie Vaquer, NXT Women's Champion, challenged our Women's World Champion, Io Sky. Then Roxanne Perez and Julia kind of show up. Rhea Ripley helps Io and Stephanie Vaquer, which is great. Jey Uso, of course, we celebrate his world heavy yeet title win. Sammy and Jimmy come out to yeet with him. Then this shit got me. Whew. Gunther comes out just some point after commercial, and it's just bitching out the commentary team. Like, hello? What's going on here, man? He puts Michael Cole in the chokehold. Pat McAfee, we all know, comes up, saves Michael Cole, but now he got put in the sleeper. Our new Intercontinental Champion, Dominic Mysterio, defeated Penta, and Braun Breaker has aligned with the Visionary, Seth Rollins, and the Wise Man, Paul Heyman, to take out CM Punk and Roman Reigns to close out Raw last week. How do we feel about everything last week, Ryan? Talk to me.
Last week was probably one of the best Raw after Manias, dude. It was amazing.
Oh, it was. I loved it. It was amazing. It was.
Full letters, one word.
I saw some arguments that it was probably the greatest Raw after WrestleMania in history. What do you think? Do you agree with that statement?
Personally, off the top of my head, I can't maybe if I go through the highlights of every Raw after Mania, there will be some stuff, but I can't off the top of my head recall anyone that's better. We had an awesome return/debut. Well, no, you can't even say debut because we did have debuts. You had a return with Rusev. You had the debut of several of your NXT stars coming up to the main roster.
It was amazing.
It was an awesome week.
So, this week was also an awesome week into this week's Monday Night Raw. We start out with Nick Aldis apparently filling in for Pierce. Don't know why he couldn't do his job, but all right. We got Rhea Ripley versus Roxanne Perez. They're both walking into the building. We see Ivanhoe with American Made, who is fighting Stephanie Vaquer later in the night. And then we see Logan Paul as well. But as we start with Raw, Gunther's been fined a lump sum and has been suspended indefinitely. We will get to that later in the show. How do we feel about Ryan? This is your guy. What are you feeling about this?
Oh my God, I got some thoughts on this, and it could be so good, bro. Oh my God. I got an idea where this could go in the direction of Gunther versus Kaiser down the road, but dude, I want to dive deep into that when we get to it. Oh my God.
Let's get it. So after Raw went off the air last week, we see a replay of Paul turning, basically a voiceover. We see Paul turning on Roman and Punk. We see a voiceover of we get the voiceover of Rollins' promo from last week. We see the CM Punk and Seth brawl. Punk putting his hands on Paul. Roman and Seth brawling, and then Paul receiving a Superman punch. And as he was going to go receive a spear, Braun Breaker appears, spearing Reigns just spearing Reigns in half and then spearing him through the barricade at the end of the night. We start out with Seth freaking Rollins with Braun Breaker and the wise man, Paul Heyman. They're all dressed up. I don't know if you saw Seth freaking Rollins' outfit was upwards like $14,000, $15,000.
What?
Not even kidding you. But we saw Breaker in a suit and tie. What I like this. I liked this
Oh yeah.
because
Oh,
I especially liked what happened at the end of
me-
the night. Where how everything just like I understand the segments played the way they did. I get that, but like if you can, I'll get into more of it when we get there. So we see Breaker in a suit and tie. They're cheered heavily though. I noticed this, and the song is being sung loud as hell. Whoa, whoa. And they kind of sum up this promo. We see the dogs barking in Kansas City, and kind of talk about the industry and running through Rollins. The industry has to run through Rollins because he is the future. They don't want They don't want Roman Reigns or Punk lookalikes running around no more because all they've done is ruin the industry. They don't want little cancers like Punk. They don't want people like Roman thinking they deserve everything. Well, his longtime friend Sami Zayn comes out. He mentions that him and Seth have been friends for like 20 years now, and so Sammy's like, "Man, you are becoming more and more like Punk and Roman because you have the one thing that they have in common. And that's the wise man, Paul Heyman." And so, Sammy's like, "Man, I'm trying to get you to understand like what is going on." And he kind of pulled a Jey Uso, which I like. He goes, "If Braun Breaker doesn't quit staring me in the face, I'm gonna kick I'm gonna kick him in the face." Or whatever that was, I don't remember. And so,
damn straight.
Seth says Sammy can become a threat if he doesn't listen. He doesn't want him to, but he can become a threat. Seth calls the wise man and says that the wise man can get Sammy moved to SmackDown. And Seth says it's not a threat, it's an offer. It's kind of like it's what we say, a favor, he says. And so Seth wants Sammy to think about it because he's going to need an answer by the end of the night. And Jesus, my bad. Paul and Rollins are leaving, and Sammy and Breaker stare off. I was very impressed with this segment.
I really like this a lot. And I also like the fact that they're not letting go of the Sammy versus Breaker rivalry. I like that
Mm-hmm.
that's coming back into play in this.
So we get a Raw highlight of the night, and we get replays of the highlights from Io versus Stephanie. See Roxanne intervening, Julia kicking Stephanie, and Rhea coming to their aid. Then we see Rhea and Io kind of, have a loose alliance throughout the night. I do want to point out, I know I just kind of skipped over that, but I have more what I want to say about Rollins and Breaker when we get there. Because I personally really like how they presented everything.
Mm-hmm.
So we get Rhea versus Roxanne, and the match kind of goes on. Roxanne leaves the ring twice. Throws her jacket at Rhea to kind of just distract her. Some bullshit. Rhea catches Roxanne from a suicide dive and throws her into the barricade. We later see Perez hitting a springboard moonsault. And later locks Rhea in a leg lock because her leg's been hurting her all match. Rhea hits the Razor's Edge, and Julia comes out. Roxanne's little 1-2. I don't know, whatever her little sidekick, whatever you want to call her. She's supposed to be one of the biggest stars in NXT, but now she's a sidekick. She distracts Rhea, and Rhea goes for the riptide, but Julia takes out her knee, causing disqualification, giving Rhea the win. And so after the match, Roxanne and Julia attack Rhea, but Io comes to the save, and Io goes for missile dropkick, but Julia stops her by hitting the ropes. And so Rhea comes to Io's aid and chases Roxanne and Julia out of the ring. I'm really interested to see what they're gonna do with Roxanne and Julia. They're just gonna have them be these little rats. Like basically, I don't want to say it, but it's almost another Liv Morgan and like Raquel, where they come in, cause distraction, yada yada yada. Let the front, basically every faction type shit. That always happens. It's just bullshit at this point.
Kind of.
That's how I feel about
Yeah.
it. I would like to see Julia and
Definitely.
Roxanne presented as single stars, though.
I agree with that point. I would like to see Julie and Roxanne presented more as single stars, and maybe we turn into like a like maybe both of them do properly get called up, and we can just split these guys off into singles feuds. I would like to see Rhea and Roxanne in maybe a non-title feud. I feel like the women's program could use more of those, and Julia versus Io would be amazing. I feel like.
And to even add to that, let's just utilize the mid card title more. Let's
Oh
just
my
do
god!
that.
If only.
Like, it's not like we have a mid card
Please.
title that a lot of women or even a lot of men can fight over. But I guess we're just going to keep it to the four that we always like. It doesn't make any sense. I've never understood
Yeah,
that about
I
mid card
completely
titles.
agree with that. I completely agree with that. I feel like, in my opinion, WWE's mid card title they should only have one mid card title for both divisions, and it should be able to hop through both shows.
For me, I'm okay with splitting them because you can have weekly title matches every week.
Mm-hmm.
Like
You
you can
could.
have them do open challenges, so that way because
If
if it's to
only.
prove
Oh
to I
my
think the
god.
management, that's just proving you can put on a show during the week. So imagine what you could do for a PLE. Like
Yeah. I miss weekly open challenges so bad for a mid card title. I know John Cena's like the only one that did it and made it a
LA
thing.
Knight had a short run with it.
Yeah, I just want that to be like that's such a good idea. Like it's so easy to build a story with that. Like it's just right there, man.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But I mean, speaking of mid card titles, let's hop to the Judgment Day locker room where Finn welcomes JD back, and JD told. Okay, so this is what happened. Finn was like, "Well, why didn't you tell me?" He goes, "Well, I told Dom to tell you, but he didn't tell you." And so Finn was upset because he wasn't told. But Liv asked why they're not getting ready for their match, and Finn's like, "What are you talking about?" And JD like, "Man, since I got back, I got us a match against the War Raiders to put us back in the tag division and hold those titles." And Finn's like, "Thank you, but keep me in the loop. Just keep me in the loop."
Yeah.
Dominic over here still catching strays, just like no other from Finn. But Carlito, as always, we get our little Carlito comedy segment. He goes, "Looks like everyone's going to be a champion." He goes, "I'm going to go talk to Pierce or Aldis, whoever the hell he said." No, you're not, dude. I'm sorry.
What are you gonna do? Go challenge Jay?
That's what I'm saying.
Like Carlito's gonna go after the world title? Oh no.
Honestly, if you could present Carlito like that, I would be mad about it. Mad about it.
I mean,
But
you
he's
could
already too much
put
of a
him in
comedy
that.
character, so you can't.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do a lot of work rehabilitating that character to make him challenge for a world heavyweight title.
Yeah. And so after this, we get Logan Paul out in the ring cutting a promo. And I'm 95% sure he got a new theme. I don't know if that's me, but I'm
I think so too.
95% sure. Um,
It sounded like it.
but he brings up his victory over AJ at WrestleMania 41, kind of mocks Jay for being a world champion. He's like, Jay shouldn't be a world champion. He's a tag team guy. Fuck you. Challenges Jay for the World Heavyweight Championship. And you know who else comes out? The World Heavy Champion. Main event. Jay. Oh, so. He comes out, calls Logan a punk ass YouTuber, brings up Gunther beating Jimmy to a bloody pulp. That's why he's the way he is. And he says the World Heavyweight Championship is earned. It's not taken, Oos. Pauletta's one word. Ugh. Yeet. So Logan pops back up on the mic. He goes, I've done more than you have. I've done more in 4 years here than you have in 15 years. And Logan or Jay kind of goes, yeah, it took me that long, but I'm the top. I earned my spot, whatever. And Logan kind of mocks him for crashing out. Jay's like, yeah, I crash out. What's up with it? Kind of mocks Jay's icy title run. And Jay super kicks Logan as Logan goes to punch him in the face. And we get a yeet. No, I lied. Logan trying to cut a little promo, mocking that title run, and he got super he got super kicked. He super yeeted.
Super yeeted. Oh, dude, I want to know what your thoughts are on this first before I. Logan Paul versus Jey Uso, man. What you think about it?
Do not let Logan win. And it's not because I'm a Jay fan. I mean, part of it is. That's the small 1%. The 99% tells me if you give Logan that world title right now, the entire fan base is going to turn on the company.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Logan Paul deserves a title run
You
or a
won't.
world title run
Better not.
just yet. Maybe give him like another year or two. And that's not because we have other stars that need to get the world title. It's just I feel like it's too soon because he, to a degree, just joined the company. So
Yeah.
why would you kind of do that? We've seen that happen, and fans just absolutely turn the entire company and it went sideways. So I do want to point that out. But after this, Go
or the
ahead.
whole
Actually, my
or the
bad.
whole.
The
Yeah,
pause was a little longer than what I was expecting. My bad.
it's all
Go
good.
ahead.
Uh, I'm trying not to be mean and just go off because I don't like this.
Well,
I'm not happy whatsoever. Why the fuck is it Logan Paul the first? I don't care that Logan Paul is challenging for the world title. I care that he is the first one to challenge for Jay's title. Like, come on, man. We could have done
I get
such a
that.
better beginning to this, and we could have done like a Drew McIntyre or like a Sami Zayn or like a Gunther rematch like I'm imagining in my head is coming down the road or like Logan Paul
Out of all people, I get it.
of all people done.
But let me
Finn
ask you
Balor. I'm
this.
looking at the card right now. Finn Balor would have been so cool. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I would okay. So then, if we had the oh my god, my idea just fucking exploded. What if we rerun? No. So this is how we get Breaker as champion. Okay, this is how I would put Breaker as champion. I would book him to beat Finn Balor, who takes it off of Jay.
Oh yeah.
I would probably hate it in the moment, but I would be okay with it in the end. Breaker takes it off of Balor, and that's how we get Breaker's first world title run. And how we do it is Seth kind of hands it to him. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I don't know how else to put it.
So the goal of this faction isn't to put the world title on Seth. It's for Seth to put the title on Breaker.
I I didn't even think of that.
No, I kind of like that though, because that's never been done, really, if you think about it.
Yeah,
Like, there's never really been like a top star that's kind of just been. I mean, because Seth Rollins is saying the future of the industry runs through me, so I will make sure that the right person holds that title and carries it into the future,
yeah,
and I will
yes.
lead him in how to be that champion. I don't know. That's just an idea, though.
I like
But I
that.
also
Yeah,
kind of like the idea that like maybe Seth does win the title and he gets defended by Breaker. But I do like that idea. That's a new idea. I really like that,
I forgot. I completely
genuinely.
just I didn't put into factor the faction, but I got you.
No, it's really good. Oh, what was I gonna say now? It was about this whole thing. I like the idea. Like, I really would have liked to see Gunther be his first challenger, and just because that's just how it's typically done. And I would have just liked to see Jay beat Gunther twice in a row,
Yeah,
personally, even though Gunther's my guy. Because I have this whole idea where we could potentially have Gunther go on a big old losing streak now after losing to Jay. Well, maybe that starts with, maybe that continues with the Pat McAfee stuff. Who knows, man? I don't know. But I have some thoughts about that too. But
oh
um,
man.
yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, there's a
But
lot I
I
did
like
not
that
take into.
idea that you just spit out there.
I was I was I was
You were
blinded by
cooking.
the heavy yeet situation or the celebration,
Mm,
the World Heavy Yeet Championship celebration. My bad.
heavy yeet.
So after this segment, though, we get the War Raiders versus Finn Balor and JD McDonough. I'm not going to call them Judgment Day anymore because it's not really even a faction anymore
Mm.
in my eyes. But the New Day is ringside holding their World Tag Team Championships, and the match starts with McDonough starting out hot against Ivar. I'm so happy to see him back in the ring. Ivar cartwheel spinning heel kicks McDonough later in the match, though, and JD hits a moonsault to the outside on the War Raiders, the one that sent him to the shelf. But he did not do it on the announce table side. He did it on the other side. But I do like the split, or like the I don't know. There's something about the announce table now is I lost my thought on that, to be honest. But the War Raiders use Finn and JD both as battering rams, and Ivar sends Finn into the New Day, and then the New Day catches Finn, and then Ivar's like, you know what, fuck it, takes out the New Day. Carlito distracts the ref. Penta comes in, pushes JD off the top rope, and the War Raiders hit the War Machine for the win. Dude, a lot happened
A lot happened there.
in like 30 seconds. It was amazing.
Literally.
It was amazing. What do we think
Yeah,
about the War Raiders getting their? This is kind of like the. It was kind of like in the number one contender. So how are we feeling about this?
I mean, yeah, we can do it again, I guess. I would. I just want this tag division to feel like legit
And
again, man.
yes, and
I just want it to
we're not
feel
even doing the
good.
draft. You notice that?
What was it? I'm
There's no
sorry.
draft.
Yeah, they haven't
There's no.
talked about the draft once.
I don't know.
Okay, there's been reports that there was going to be a draft. Like there
Oh yeah,
has
are we?
been.
Yeah,
It's just that they don't know when that it's going to happen. But I find it really interesting that they haven't even started to talk about it yet because it's usually like right after Backlash, I imagine, right?
I thought it was WrestleMania.
I mean, usually like that.
So I don't know. But after this, Sammy and Otis are backstage, and Paul Heyman comes in, and Paul mentions that him and Sammy are a part of the OG bloodline, but Paul respects Sammy for leaving, and Sammy should respect Paul for leaving, though. And Sammy's just like, no. Paul tries to hype up Seth and Braun Breaker to be like, hey, man, like, I'm trying to really help you here. Paul says that Breaker is demanding a match, though. Sammy's like, okay, I'll take it. But Paul says that Breaker is the key to all their plans, and he tries to get Sammy to go to SmackDown. He's already talked to Pierce and Aldis, because if Sammy goes to SmackDown, he gets the winner of Cena versus Orton at Backlash. And he tell Heyman before he leaves, he goes, you can live with the future, or you can die with the past. And as he leaves, Braun Breaker is right around the corner. So the segment storyline all night, Ryan, what were you thinking? Were you gonna think Sammy was gonna take it or what?
I was honestly kind of, yeah. I wouldn't have minded Sami Zayn going over to SmackDown and doing that. I mean, it would have made sense for his character to run away
Yeah.
from it all, honestly. But the idea of Sami Zayn going to SmackDown under like some circumstance like that, because there's been this idea that Sami Zayn might be going heel at some point.
I hope
So
so.
maybe maybe there is like room for a third active star in this group, with Paul Heyman being the non-active guy, and Sami Zayn maybe could fit that role.
Ooh.
I'm just throwing out like any name that I can at this point to fill this void in as a group because I'm so interested to see who it could be,
It's
if
The
it's
Rock.
anyone at all. God damn it!
It's The Rock. No, I'm kidding.
If it's
A
anyone
third.
at all, it could just run it as a duo
That's what I
or
was just about to
trio.
say. I think you could run it as a duo, to be honest.
Hmm.
Like you,
Or I've
like
seen Becky Lynch be talked about a lot too.
I've had those thoughts of Becky. I think it'd be all right, honestly, because Becky just did her heel turn,
Yeah, I wouldn't be totally against that.
and it would kind of, I don't want to say coincide, but it kind of does because Rollins says the future runs through him. Becky kind of is doing the same thing by attacking Lyra because this is also her get back from NXT.
Right, it is.
I think about that. Shit. I don't know. I want to know if they use Becky as a heel, because my biggest question was throughout the entire thing before we get to it was, is Becky a beloved heel like she has been before, and you can't deny her being a babyface, or is she actually gonna be hated? That was my question.
Hmm. Um,
But if we're going,
I don't even
I
know.
would be okay with a duo, or if we go with another guy. Oh shit! Oh, Grande Americana.
Oh my god, you've made the best faction in the world. God damn it, he's done it, ladies and gentlemen. He's cooked.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. I really don't know. Because what I'm really hating right now is how they're running the world titles. You're running 3 out of the 4 world titles on Raw right now. You're not really doing much with SmackDown. I mean, we saw John Cena on SmackDown this week, but it wasn't like I'm saying it. I need. I don't know, man.
Hmm.
I just had the thought of Jay, but I'm like, no, he knows what that's like.
Nah. I like the idea that maybe Jay could get manipulated by this group at some point again.
I hate the fact that they're presenting him as easily manipulated, but he is.
He is though. That's like what makes his character so like
I know.
it's like Jay no. Yeah.
I know. So After this, though, Becky Lynch is cutting her promo. She's out the ring. She goes, she's back in business. She brings up Bayley being attacked. She goes, we're just going to address the elephant in the room right now. I'm the one who attacked Bayley at WrestleMania 41. And Becky brings up her history of Bayley since 2019. You know, the whole thing with Damage Control when Bayley was running Damage Control. And says she is mocking Bayley for being a good sport, mocks her for not being the big star like Becky, and mocking her for being the role model. Brings up Lyra being close with Bayley after Becky has fought her for 6 years. It kind of tore Becky up. But you know what she should have done? Lyra should have ditched that bitch and calls Lyra a loser. Okay, Becky. Okay.
All right, tell us how you really feel.
That's what I'm saying. Tell us how you really feel, damn it. So Lyra comes out, and she's been told that Becky is a bad person. You know, brings up being in her dream match with Becky at WrestleMania, winning the tag titles. Lyra had hopes for Becky because that's all everyone ever talked about in the back. Lyra chased Becky out of the ring, though, and Lyra tries to get a match with Becky. Becky's like, nah. And Lyra goes, bring up the last time that her and Becky went one-on-one was for the, like I said earlier, the NXT Women's Championship. Becky goes, I only fight when it pertains to the man. And Lyra challenges Becky at Backlash, which was what I'm assuming is what we get. I just put it down in the notes. It's unofficial at the moment. And so at this point in the night, Lyra says she doesn't want to be the next Becky Lynch anymore. She says she's a better wrestler than Becky. I almost. I could see some parts, but I think Becky's overall better. Lyra drop kicks Becky, though, and unloads on Becky in the ring. But Becky runs through the crowd, and I just have a little note here, but I'm going to say this first. Becky attacks Lyra, though, from behind at the top of the ramp to end the segment. I don't know how I feel about this entire promo. Because to me, it kind of almost just felt forced. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
Like a lot of the shit that we're doing right now feels forced to me. But in the same breath, like we've said before many times on this podcast, we aren't the writers. We're just the fans hypothesizing on what would happen next.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Like, this felt very clunky, and if I feel like that's a word you could use for it. Like they were like, it's not like clunky in the way that like the Charlotte and Tiffany stuff was, but it's just very much like,
yeah, that was bad.
It's pretty clear that like Becky wants to be booed, but like the fans aren't fully buying into it, so it's kind of throwing them both off their game a little bit. But
again, I'm gonna hold out for Becky because we've never really had a heel Becky. Because when we had it, again, like we said earlier, the fans loved it. The fans basically turned her.
Yeah, the fans instantly started cheering her again.
Yeah, the fans turned her.
We do not want to boo Becky. And I'm worried that might potentially happen with this one, because that's honestly like the feeling that I had when the turn originally happened. Was I wasn't happy with it. I threw out an idea, I believe it was on the WrestleMania reaction show, I can't remember, but where I would have liked to see Lyra be revealed as the attacker on Bayley, and we could have ran potentially a storyline shadowing that of Mickie James and
Trish Stratus.
Dude, I always forget her name when I need to remember it, and I got no idea why. Like, I have no clue why I all of a sudden blank her name when I need to talk about it. But yeah, that's kind of the idea that I had with them. But I mean,
I gotcha.
Cool too, I guess. We'll see how it goes.
And so after this, we see Nick Aldis and Penta backstage. Aldis says that he needs Penta to calm down or he's going to fine him. Aldis made JD versus Penta next week. We get Chad Gable walking in and an El Grande Americano t-shirt. Is like El Grande Americano is numero uno or some dumb like shit like that. Mocks Penta for losing at WrestleMania. He goes, dropped it in the biggest night of all. He goes, what is it, Cero Miedo? Well, it's Cero comebacks. And Chad's favorite part was watching Rey Fenix lose against El Grande Americano. Chad eats a freaking knee to the face from Penta and calls him a pendejo. Penta says he did it for his brother, Rey Fenix, and you don't mess with the Lucha Bros, this is the first time it's been mentioned on TV by the wrestlers themselves.
Hell yeah, it
We've
is.
heard Chad Gable say something about it. Not Chad Gable, Michael Cole. That was very disrespectful. My bad, dude. But before Penta leaves, he calls Gable a pendejo one last time.
Hell yeah. Hopefully they are coming in the draft. They get put on the same show together, and we'll see that tag team go crazy.
Oh yeah, Lucha Bros.
Yeah.
All right. After this, we get Rusev's promo. We get a Rusev promo video. I'm very impressed with this. He kind of is, just we see a bunch of the replay, the highlights of the first run he had, the U.S. Championship, WrestleMania 31 appearance.
The
But
tank.
when he left WWE is when he lost himself, though, kind of hinting at his time in AEW, I'd say, and out in the Indies.
Oh, definitely.
Then we see Lana on TV. He goes, I want to crush people. I will hunt the flawed, the arrogant, and the ones that waste talent. How you feeling about this Bulgarian killing machine?
I like it a lot. It's a very good mix now. Well, I mean, we've only had the one promo, a pretty good mix. I think next week he's fighting Otis. Of Rusev and Miro from AEW. Like he's got that aspect of you're wasting your talents, and I'm gonna show you why that's gonna get you killed when you fight me, essentially. And like he's not, doing the whole I will do take your soul for my god and behead you and shit like that, like he was doing. But
Yeah.
I like that we're not going back to the Rusev Day stuff. Is the main thing I want to
Man,
drive home.
we love
I
Rusev Day.
know, I know, we love Rusev Day, but this is the Rusev that I wanted to see come to WWE.
That's fair.
Because a lot of talk has been that they want to put him in a world title program at some point, like soon. And
Ooh, that'd
not
be
totally
interesting.
against that.
I'm
Not
not
against
either.
that when he's acting like this.
My God.
That could be pretty awesome.
This is kind of awesome, and I was okay with this Stephanie Vaquer and Ivy Nile match.
Oh my god!
Ivy Nile kind of just starts out with the spine buster. Stephanie Vaquer hits the Devil's Kiss, is what I think it's called.
Oh, Booker T's
That.
favorite move.
Booker T's favorite
Chocolate
move.
Booker Quack.
But we see Ivy Nile German suplexing Stephanie onto the floor, dude, off a Chad Gable distraction. And Vaquer hits a superplex on Ivy Nile and then later hits her finisher, which I think is called the SVB. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. SVB.
Yeah. I don't know how much longer do you think we're going to see her on TV, though?
Hopefully permanently.
Our
Hopefully
main
she
roster.
drops. Hopefully this is her debut. Like I hope that she drops the NXT title soon, and then she'll be permanently on the main roster now. But that's high hopes because that's literally NXT losing Julia, Roxanne, and
Roxanne.
Vaquer all back to back to back in the same week or same time frame. My earbud keeps like slipping out of my ear. I'm sorry if my audio keeps like fucking up.
Yeah, you're good, dude. Don't sweat.
But yeah, that's what I'd want to see.
After this, we see Aldis briefly talking about AJ's future with him, AJ Styles. But Liv walks in saying that she's going to be in a movie and that she needs time off. Aldis already was like, yep, you can already do it. And I was like, hey, I'm going to need some time off too. And Aldis is like, why? He goes, because I'm a champion. I can do what I want.
Because I'm the champion.
And Aldis is like, maybe you should have learned something from your dad. When you're a champion, you fight every week. Request denied. All right. That is so fucking redundant of what he just told Liv. It's so fucking redundant.
It is, though. You're not wrong.
Dom mocks AJ.
Now you can leave, though.
Yeah. Dom mocks AJ before leaving, and AJ offers, an idea to Aldis. And Aldis goes, I like that idea. Let's do it. So I'm pretty sure we have AJ versus Dom next week as well. I didn't catch everything for next Monday, to be honest. Where we at? After this, though, we get Karrion Kross with Sami Zayn, and he literally just walks in and goes, I hope you make the right choice, and then leaves. That's it. And then I didn't catch this, but before we go back to the Sami thing, something with Kaiser popped up on TV. I don't know if you actually got to watch the segment, but I didn't.
I did not. That actually was like something I came back from commercial and saw. I was like fast forwarding through a commercial and I saw like 2 frames of it.
Yeah, so I know you
I
don't
haven't
watch it live.
seen.
I know you watch the reruns and everything. So I don't know what you see compared to what I see.
Yeah, I
But
didn't see
back to
that.
Karrion Cross with Sami Zayn. Are we gonna see Sami snap, or do you think this is where he makes his heel turn, like you were mentioning earlier?
Like, what you mean? Like, would you do we see him snap? Like, when it comes to this cross situation that he's in?
Mm-mm. Situation he's in with Seth, but it stems from Karrion Cross feeding into his head.
I like that idea because I mean we've seen the long-term seeds that he planted in the New Day turn into what we see with them now. So
Yeah,
if he is starting to mess with Sami Zayn now and is like, I hope you make the right choice and like I hope you're really considering the options that they're presenting for you. I
yeah.
mean, maybe this could all boil, but maybe Cross is the fourth guy or the third guy. Yeah,
Ooh,
he's the third guy.
ooh.
Oh, I like that. Hold up.
Hold on. He's cooking. He's cooking
Okay.
in the kitchen. All right.
I really like that idea though. For back to what you originally asked me, I like the idea of this potentially leading to Sami Zayn going into
Okay.
that heel turn that I mentioned.
So after this, we get to the segment of the night that I was probably most impressed with. Not most impressed. Probably my highlight of the night. That's a new segment we've also introduced. We'll get to it though. Michael Cole wants to apologize to Pat about what happened with Gunther. He goes, after his 26 years, he thinks it's appropriate to have an opinion. We get a replay of Gunther choking out Cole and McAfee. And then Pat McAfee goes, yep, it's time for me to address the situation. This is bullshit. Throws the headset, grabs the mic. He goes, this past week has made him realize he's still the dog he is. Brings up his upbringing. Lucky to be blessed with the friends he has, the people he surrounds himself with. And he has a few things he hopes people remember him by. That guy was an incredibly hard worker. That guy was an incredibly hard worker. Secondly, that he was an empathetic man and that he gave back and left the world better than he came into it. And when he's dead and gone, they'll say he was a loyal motherfucker.
Yeah.
You're either with him or you're against him. And I'm going to say this right now. I'm with Pat all the fucking way. Let's go. Let's get it. One man has been with them since Pat's beginning in the WWE. That man's Michael Cole. And if someone wants something with Michael Cole, you also get Pat McAfee. And Gunther, you Austrian asshole. He goes, man, they say they don't want me fighting Gunther. They say they're gonna give me her, my family, everybody. He said, you know what? Fuck that. If I die, I die. You got a problem with Cole, you got a problem with me, Gunther. And calls all this SmackDown's version of Pierce. He goes, get SmackDown's version of Pierce down here. Word. Aldis goes, I know about the chaos and it's not going to happen tonight. I want you to calm down, Pat. And Pat knows that Aldis can pull strings, though, and he wants to fight Gunther ASAP. He wants Gunther's suspension up. Aldis has already discussed this, though, and Pierce said no. But there's an alternative, a sanctioned contest in a WWE ring, and Aldis proposes McAfee versus Gunther at Backlash, and Pat goes, all right, let's do it. Accepts the challenge. Oh, my God, dude. This guy. Let's go, Pat. Because first, I could really say first official. No. Can we say first official match? Since, I don't know.
Since the Vince McMahon thing, yeah, it is.
So that's 4 years now? Holy shit.
WrestleMania
I mean,
38, yeah.
yeah, he's a commentator, whatever. The point still stands. Like this guy, we've seen this guy in the ring. He can go. I'm not gonna say he can go toe for toe with Gunther, but he can go. I believe in Pat though. I think Pat's gonna beat Gunther. What do we think, Ryan?
I don't think he's gonna beat him. Well, okay, hold on. He might actually. I have this whole idea. I got this thing I wanted to talk about. Well, first off, Pat McAfee versus Gunther. Not totally hyped up as about it as maybe if some people are. Mostly because of the idea that this guy was our world champion last month. Like, it's literally just cynical shit that I don't want to try to bog it all down with. What I want to get to is I hope Pat McAfee kind of does beat him because I really want to see Gunther go on like this big old losing streak at some point, maybe
Right.
throughout 2025, which ties into the Goldberg retirement. He can lose to Goldberg. He's lost to Jey Uso. He thought Jey Uso was a nobody, and he lost his title to him. He thought Pat McAfee was nothing but a commentator, but he got beat by Pat McAfee. He thinks Goldberg is nothing but a washed-up old man. He gets beaten by Goldberg. And so now
Goldberg.
Goldberg,
Okay, that's what's on my two.
Goldberg.
Only time I'm gonna chant his name.
Now, now, goddamn, I almost called him Goldberg. Now Gunther's sitting here and he's like, man, I've lost everything. It's time to go back to roots. Kaiser! And he's going to find Kaiser. And he's going to start bossing Kaiser around again. He's going to go back to that old routine. But this time, Kaiser's going to be like, hold up. Didn't you lose to Jay? And granted, I don't actually think this about Jay, but in WWE Universe, everybody thinks of Jay as like a nobody type guy, right? So
Yeah,
Kaiser's going to throw out the idea
He's a
of like, wait, didn't you lose to Jay? Didn't you lose to Pat? Didn't you lose to Goldberg in his retirement? I'm not listening to you anymore. And he'll turn on Gunther. We'll get Kaiser beating Gunther to go into the main event scene. Gunther goes away for a long time. And meanwhile, in the shadows, we're going to have this slime ball of our Intercontinental Champion, Dominic, hold this belt for an ungodly amount of time. And he'll eventually say, I'm the best champion ever. I'm going to win it all. And Gunther's going to return from this losing streak to beat Dominic for the title. And that'll be Gunther's next win.
Oh, word.
But he'll lose every match until he gets back that title.
Ooh.
And that's bold for me to say, because you know how much I love Gunther.
Yeah, you like the big matey man smacking a man meat.
I'm a big meaty man. Smacking man meat. I couldn't clap out my handful.
I'm rooting for Pat. I don't care. It's Pat McAfee all the way.
Let's go,
Pat. Let's go, Pat. We already know the Pat McAfee show and his homies are gonna be ringside. Let's get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you're excited for this one, real quick?
Oh, yes. I'm so excited for this. So excited. Cena versus Orton, though, we get the promo video for Backlash St. Louis this year. Last year it was in France. I think the year before that was in Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico! I still stand that was the best one.
I'm going to have to argue France was better.
Legendary.
I'm going to have to argue France was better.
You can go tit for tat. It's honestly either one.
Yes.
It's honestly that.
They're Damian Priest versus Bad Bunny. Whew. That was amazing. Not Sammy. I just saw reading my screen. Fucking Cody versus AJ last year. Oh my god.
AJ was amazing.
But after this, I really don't know much to speak on this promo video. I mean, did you have any thoughts on it?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay. Because after this, we get Sammy backstage and Jay walks in checking in on Sammy. And he goes, whatever you choose, man, it's just best for you. And Jay and Sammy hug, but with a very, very awkward wait. Jay standing there. Logan comes in and just straight clocks Jay. It literally scares the shit out of me. Like, I jumped out of my seat. They scared the fuck out of me.
Scared by the low gang.
After this, these are the two things I got for next Monday. We got Rusev versus Otis and Penta versus JD. I didn't get much else. I'm excited for it, though. I'm excited for Rusev's first match. And I'm excited for it to be against Otis. Honestly, I don't know how you feel about that.
Smacking man meat.
But I think he's going to kill Otis, to be honest.
It's going to be so much fun. I think it's going to go maybe like 3 minutes, maybe like 5-10 minutes, something like that.
I say 5.
Rusev's going to run through him and trap him in the accolade, and that is going to be it.
I agree. I think it's going to be where we see it. It's going to be the end. Unfortunately, the end of Otis. I would like to see Otis be used with more, but he's not.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry, I was taking a sip of water.
Okay.
After this, we get the answer of the night. We get Seth freaking Rollins. And Seth calls Sammy out to the ring for his answer. Sammy comes out, though, and Seth has thought about what he said and accuses Sammy of putting Seth in a tough spot. And Seth brings up their 20 years of friendship. Their kids play together, you know? Brings up Sammy and Jay celebrating last week. And Seth expected the same for him. It says that him, Breaker, and Heyman is a vision for the future of the WWE. It says that this business tears friendships and relationships apart. We both know this. Seth says that you only have so many true friends, and Sammy is one of those true friends to Seth. And Sammy was one of the first people Seth called after his daughter was born because he was scared, man. Sammy just had his kid. He confided in Sammy. And Seth wants to return the favors, and Sammy helped him. He wants to give him a favor, the favor of Cena.
Oh shit! Hello. Well, shit. Looks like we have some technical difficulties on Alex's end. Hold up.
Oh no! Hello?
Hello.
Oh, my connection went out. I'm so sorry. Where was I at? Where was I at?
Um, Let me just get to it. Sammy and Seth's promo. Seth was like confiding in Sammy about, having kids.
Okay, yeah. Let me go back. But Seth wants to, kind of return the favor since Sammy helped him. He wants to give him a favor and wants Sammy to take the way out. If Sammy doesn't leave, bad things are going to happen to him, though. Sammy apologizes for hurting Seth as a friend, but their kids play together. They are pretty close outside the ring. It's true. But inside the ring, Sammy thinks that Seth is playing games. Seth knows what card to play with Sammy.
Shit, hello? Cut out again. Aw, shit.
Um,
Might have to restart.
nope.
Hello?
What the heck? What did I say? I don't know why. I'm right there. What was the last thing you heard?
Just Sammy's, didn't, I think Sammy apologizing or something like that?
Okay.
You were talking about Sammy. Oh,
Yep.
good.
Sammy apologizes to Seth for hitting Seth as a friend and mentions how their kids play together and how close they are. Outside the ring, it's true. Inside the ring, though, Sammy thinks Seth is playing games. Seth knows what card to play with Sammy because he confided in him. He's dangling Sammy's dreams in his face, but has Sammy ever been the one to run away if Sammy doesn't submit? He becomes Seth's target, though. Sammy will win a WWE championship, and when he does, it will not be because of any favors. It will be because he did it himself. Sammy says as a friend, but this is him telling Seth to go to hell. And this is the attention to detail I loved, right? As soon as he says this, boom, Breaker's music hits. Bro, if that happens every time, oh my God.
Oh my god.
Like, if
That
somebody's
was like
disrespecting Seth, boom, Breaker comes out, get ready to kick ass. Like,
so, especially the image of how Breaker's entrance it's all black with only the spotlight. The image of Heyman's face over his shoulder now, like
exactly.
he looks like a ready-made main eventer now. Like
I'm so excited.
he's ready.
I can't wait for him to become a main eventer. I don't know when he'll do it, but
So
I
good.
can't wait for it.
He's
Heyman says that
so
Breaker's
good.
gonna do more than Roman. He's gonna
I
main
could
event
see
more
it.
WrestleManias than Roman. I thought about that today, and I could too.
This is a likely contender for like the person that'll win 20 world championships in his
Yeah.
careers type shit. Like, dude's insane.
And so we get right into Sammy versus Braun Breaker, and the match goes. Sammy gets picked up and getting pinned in the corner by Breaker, and then he ends up getting thrown across the ring. Breaker jumps from the apron to the desk, clotheslining Sammy. His signature move. Later hits the Breakensteiner, and Sammy hits an exploder on the Breaker before Breaker hits the spear. But Breaker runs the rope and spears Sammy. Doesn't pin him though. And Seth tells Sammy to take the deal. And Sammy's like, go to hell. Breaker runs the ropes again. And he spears Sammy, super spears Sammy again. Ref calls for the EMTs. Breaker wins by TKO. But the crowd calls for one, or no, sorry, I called that earlier. Crowd calls for one more time. Breaker runs the ring and spears Sammy, and the ref calls the match. And after the match, though, Seth calls Breaker off for a few seconds before he looks at Sammy on the ground with Breaker right in front of him. He goes, Sammy made his bed. Now he has to sleep in it. And Seth stomps Sammy's head into the ground. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I am ready for a complete Seth Rollins takeover.
This is gonna start happening. I think that there was a reason. So I know that, like, I'm not trying to harp back again to this third person, but I know that there was like a meetup last week on the Raw After Mania between Jimmy, Jay, and Sammy. That's a
Yep.
realistic like babyface group to go against these guys now. I
Honestly.
know, I know Jimmy's on SmackDown, but draft's coming up, so there you go. Like a little bit of a reunited babyface bloodline group versus these guys, and Seth's group can just boom steamroll them or something like that. Maybe after Jay wins the title, loses the title or something like that. So it's not, the champ losing. But that's just an idea I had. Want to hear your thoughts on it?
I like that a lot. Honestly, I would be okay if Seth was the first one to take it off of Jay. But I kind of really want Breaker or Balor. But I want it done.
Yeah,
And it has to be done in a convincing fashion if it's Balor.
yeah, I'd really like to see Balor do something big like that because I mean, the long talk has been that he's due for a big push coming up, but who knows when it'll happen.
It's long
But
overdue.
oh yeah, very
8 years
long.
overdue.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, no, dude, that's a really good idea.
I think I'm done talking about Raw. I think we get into our new segment that we've been.
Heck yeah, getting to the new segment, AR Wrestling's highlight of the night.
Ryan, what was your highlight of the night for Monday Night Raw?
Bro, so it was literally what you were just then talking about. It was right at the end. It's Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn's promo, where as soon as Sami Zayn is disrespecting Seth and is like, go to hell, brrr, the sirens go off, and here comes Breaker. Like, the feeling that I get when that happens is just like, oh shit, it's gotten real. Sammy
That's
done
that,
fucked up.
that's what I'm saying. For me, mine's either the Pat McAfee promo or just basically the last main event segment into the main event itself and the end of Raw. Basically, that entire thing right there was I love that shit. That was awesome. I think though to really, if I had to pick one out of that, it would be the end of it after the main event when Seth and Breaker fuck Sammy up royally. That would be my favorite, to be honest.
Oh yeah, this is freaking amazing. I am loving this new group. Loving Raw actually is feeling like it's on fire recently.
Oh God, that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all I got for this week on Monday Night Raw. Ryan, is there anything else that you want to point out?
No, sir, that is all that I got.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, follow along with us on our social links. It's AR Wrestling _ for Twitter. Insta is AR _ Wrestling _ Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, all AR Wrestling Podcasts. YouTube is AR Wrestling 1020 in the search engine. And we're going to start Twitch soon. Twitch.tv / AR _ Wrestling. And just one more thing. Thank you.
Thank you.